MSNBC Investigates. Extreme fighting.
That's always fun, seeing a good beating.
They could be your sons. This could be your neighborhood. These boys are not pretending. They are punching and kicking and bleeding for real. And these friends are doing it all for fun.
The cool thing is you don't feel the pain until after you calm down.
They are part of a nationwide obsession with violence. Some of it more extreme than you ever would have imagined.
Probably our most famous match that our wrestlers do is a barbed wire match. The whole idea of it is the wrestler does not want to get caught in the barbed wire.
Have we gone too far?
Blood. I want to see blood. I want to see breaking bones.
Should our children see this?
It's like a great experience. They'll never forget this.
MSNBC Investigates. Extreme fighting.
Reporting now, Lester Holt.
Teens see more than 10,000 murders, assaults, and other violent images each year on television. That's according to the American Psychological Association. Some teenagers have gone from watching violent entertainment to making it, like the boys who shot and participated in the home video you're about to see. And it doesn't stop at amateurs. We'll introduce you to other extreme forms of entertainment, so violent, cable TV has all but banned it. What you're about to see is raw and very dangerous, and you may find it disturbing. We begin in what could be your neighborhood.
Tempe, Arizona, Oregon City, Oregon, Provo, Utah. Raw violence that is underground, unregulated, and unmatched. These are fight clubs. Fight clubs aren't about ganging up or settling scores, and there's no prize money. The fighters are actually friends who get a rush from beating each other up.
Winning feels good, just like anything else.
The cool thing is you don't feel the pain until after you calm down.
Far from the professional and amateur rings, fight clubs get down and dirty in town parks, in backyards, in living rooms across the country.
Kind of their own little homemade blood sport.
In Tempe, Arizona, some high school students who formed a fight club wound up in conflict with the police. Sergeant Will Price says in his 18.5 years on the force, he'd never seen anything like it.
It appears to be just a bunch of guys getting together who thought this was a good time to basically beat the stuffing out of each other.
You got it, you got it.
After an anonymous tip-off from a concerned parent, Tempe police seized this videotape. Here, Fight Club founder Charlie Kliggensmith and his friend Josh Hogan square off. No equipment, no supervision, and few rules. Josh wins by choking Charlie out. And that's not where it ended. Tempe Fight Club members videotaped their matches so they could keep watching them.
Oh yeah, it was great. You know, that was like, after the fighting, that was like the funnest part. You know, we get to go back and watch the tape and see who lost.
But nothing prepares the teenagers for what they capture on tape when Charlie and Josh fight again. At first, Josh gets Charlie in a headlock. But when Charlie goes to lift Josh, the fight takes a devastating turn.
Well, I went over my back, so I didn't see him land, and so I had no idea he landed on his head. And his eyes were open and everything, so I kept going, and that's when I kicked him. And I felt bad. I still feel bad because, you know, drop your friend on his head.
This seems bad now. Like, it wasn't a good idea.
And it turned out they were on the corner of the lawn near the cement.
And, like, when he picked him up, Josh, like, let go totally. He didn't put his hands down, he just fell.
Accidents happen.
I think if we could go back to that day, I think any of us would have stopped it before it went on the cement. I think all of us would have. I don't have a doubt in my mind about it.
Nobody ever called for help. Nobody ever called for paramedics.
We tried to get him to go to the hospital for a while, and he didn't want to go, so he didn't go.
Josh didn't go to the hospital that day or the next. In fact, He didn't see a doctor until after police showed his mother the videotape 3 days later. Fortunately, Josh didn't suffer brain damage or any other permanent injuries.
When they went to play football, they're wearing a helmet and they're wearing pads and protective gear. If you watch these tapes, they're wearing gym shorts, for God's sake, rolling around on the ground.
Charlie's mother says she didn't know about the fight club until the police stepped in, but she doesn't think Charlie and his friends did anything intentionally wrong.
They wrestle in the bedroom, they wrestle in the pool. You get boys together and they wrestle. On the playground they wrestle, you hope that it doesn't go so far as it did.
Jennifer Klingensmith says her son was 19 when he fought Josh, old enough to make his own decisions.
I actually think the responsibility is on the boys.
We never jump anybody. Nobody ever had to do it. We never forced anybody to do it. These are all people wanted to get into it and like consensual fights, that's all it was.
But Tempe police didn't consider this a simple case of roughhousing that got out of hand. Sergeant Price says that when Charlie kicked Josh in the face, he committed a crime.
Our interpretation was aggravated assault, and the reason for that was that that kick subjected Josh Hogan to a substantial and imminent risk of either physical injury or death.
It's not against the rules to kick them when they're down.
Rules or no rules, Josh Hogan and his parents did not press charges. Charlie was not arrested, and the county attorney didn't prosecute because Josh and Charlie were friends, and they both agreed to fight.
Would they rather, we go out like a lot of other high school kids and get in real fights, out there and do a bunch of illegal stuff?
The responsibility ultimately lies with individual parents to do the right thing, to make sure their kids are getting the guidance that they need, and that they're getting, to a certain degree, the controls put on them that are appropriate to be put on young people.
Man.
Fight Club members say that high school graduation brought an end to their organized brawls. Charlie says nothing has changed between him and Josh.
There's no bad blood between us. Me and Josh are still good friends.
And for the other members, the Fight Club is now just a fond memory among friends.
Yeah, I miss it. I miss it a lot. It was fun.
Well, that's always fun, seeing a good beating,
Let's get it on, come on! When we come back.
It goes to the core of the human essence. It's one man against each other. It's a war.
I think it's an incredibly brutal spectacle that is on the level of a cockfight, only we're using human beings.
Young boys have always liked scrapping with their buddies, wrestling for fun or maybe an honorary title. But the fighting we've seen goes way beyond that. Where do kids even get the idea to fight with such intensity that it's par for the course to draw blood or get seriously injured? Look no further than Ultimate Fighting.
Let's get it on, come on! It's fight night at New Orleans Lakefront Arena. This spectacle is the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the coarsest, rawest form of hand-to-hand combat. These professional fighters put their life and limb on the line for at most $2,000 to show up, another $2,000 to win.
It goes to the core of the human essence. It's one man against each other. It's a war.
Since its creation in 1993, Ultimate Fighting, also known as mixed martial arts, has taken repeated body blows from critics who revile its violence.
I think it's an incredibly brutal spectacle that is on the level of a cockfight, only we're using human beings.
But even critics admit that Ultimate Fighting wouldn't exist if there wasn't an audience craving for it. Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman is a leading expert on the impact of violent entertainment on society.
Not so much that
at the base level that we like to watch violence is that we need to watch violence. If violence is there, we must watch it. This is a vital piece of survival capacity in human beings.
The goal of ultimate fighting is simple: to knock your opponent out cold through striking or hitting with the hand, elbow, or legs. A fighter can also defeat his opponent through submission, incapacitating him so that he taps out.
That's it.
And this is what you call a true submission, a bone-breaking submission.
Submission is accomplished by applying enough pressure that a bone threatens to break, or choking an opponent into unconsciousness. The sport answered some basic fight fantasies. What would happen if a judo expert fought a wrestler? Or a 600-pound sumo champion fought a 200-pound kickboxer? Answer: the kickboxer KOs him in less than 2 minutes.
He just gave in. Emmanuel just tapped out.
There's still a kind of macho feel around the whole sport, and as a society becomes more effeminate, and there's a lot of emasculation culturally going on of men, this is something where they can feel like men.
That is absolutely bogus. If you look through history, there is no time in history in which you can find a civilization as intent on harming one another as ours is today. We've created an environment in which people are inflicted with violent visual images from the very youngest age.
In the beginning, ultimate fighting had practically no rules, no weight classes, no rounds, and the only moves prohibited were biting and eye gouging.
And there's the headbutt.
This free-for-all took place in a cage called the octagon.
It's very, very natural. When something is true, there's something very beautiful about it. The truth in something is beautiful. And the truth in conflict is beautiful.
Suplex.
Ultimate Fighting made its big money on pay-per-view and was marketed in extreme language. Contestants would fight till knockout, submission, doctor's intervention, or death.
It definitely stunned him. Oh, big right.
The spectacle of headbutts, groin punches, and ceaseless pummelings won the hearts of hundreds of thousands of fans. According to the promoter, one 1995 pay-per-view event alone took in upwards of $7.5 million. Ticket sales, videos, and merchandise meant millions more.
Good move by Tank.
But Ultimate Fighting's collapse began when Senator John McCain of Arizona, an avid boxing fan, saw a UFC tape.
I think that this is as close as anything I've seen to the days of the gladiators.
What also angered critics was Ultimate Fighting's fan base. Like pro wrestling, it attracted children, mostly boys.
When we take the little boy and we feed him violent role models from the very beginning, then what happens is he begins to scan his environment and continue to seek violent male role models. He becomes convinced, well, this is what males do.
Senator McCain fired off letters to the nation's governors to bar Ultimate Fighting matches, and he put pressure on cable companies who were up for new licenses. Quickly, UFC was squeezed off pay-per-view.